So this video topic, I'm gonna talk about why when it comes to relationship trauma and people who are experiencing issues within relationships, the reason why it's God and the universe's fault, and the reason why they're at play within this shit. Now, and there's no true free will or freedom within this human experience. I say this because I've studied a lot of spiritual videos and a lot of spiritual content, and apparently, in order in order for you to attract a lot of abundance and happiness in this life and within relationships, you have to have a very healthy subconscious mind. I think it's subconscious or unconscious mind, because you're apparently, what I've learned is that your subconscious and unconscious mind, it has the keys to attract all the stuff you want, but it depends on what state it's in, pretty much. So if your conscious and unconscious mind, if it's operating from a very healthy level to where it's healed, that means you're able to attract love because you're in that vibration, because your mindset is not fucked up, and then something energetically, now you're able to attract the love that you always wanted, the money you want, and all this other stupid ass shit that this reality in this realm has to offer. But if your subconscious, unconscious mind, if it's, and also forgot to mention, your nervous system is nice and regulated. But if your subconscious, unconscious mind, if it's not healed, if it's very traumatized and there's a lot of blockages, and it's not healed based on the trauma you've experienced, then that's when you're attracting negative situations. It seems like you have bad luck, but you don't. It's just that you're attracting situations because your subconscious and unconscious mind's fucked up, pretty much based on all the trauma and traumatic experiences that you've experienced, to where it done a number on it, to where you can't attract good things. Instead, you attract the opposite of your fears, your insecurities, and your trauma. So when you constantly attract bad relationships and bad partnerships, it's because your conscious mind and unconscious mind is attracting those situations. So for example, this is why you have attachment styles when it comes to relationships. So if you're, this is why you have your dismissive avoidance attachment style. You have your fearful avoidant attachment style, and then you have your healthy attachment style. This is why dismissive avoidance, they attract clingy people, codependent people, and codependent people, they attract narcissistic, selfish people. It's because they're both operating off of their trauma based on their subconscious and unconscious mind. Now, how does that happen? It's because they were raised and born into a family that's very dysfunctional. If you study dismissive avoidance, pretty much dismissive avoidance, the reason why they are the way they are, and they're very dismissive, they're very narcissistic, and they don't take accountability, and they're cowardly, and they hide and dip, and they're secretive, and they switch up like the bitch ass people they are, excuse my language, is because they were born and raised into a family and parents and caretakers that never showed them proper love. They never nurtured them growing up. So that means they never gave them the right tools to be there for them. So with these babies, so now they can't rely on them, so now they have to rely on themselves. So that's why it's hard for them to show emotion. And it's hard for them to express themselves, because they know their parents aren't going to give them that. So when they get older, they're naturally closed off, and they naturally rely on themselves, and they can't express themselves. They're bad at emotions, and they're bad at giving love and receiving love, because they never know how to, because they're never shown that, or they never had that given to them growing up. So and children, they develop from age from 1 to 8, whatever, and then that's when it sticks with them. Now, and when it comes to anxious, preoccupied attachment style, for them, their parents only show them half-assed love. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. They're very unpredictable. That's why they're very emotional, sensitive, and they're anxious. And as they get older, when it comes to relationships, they tend to cling on and be codependent because of that. You know, and people who are on a healthy attachment style, they have parents and family that give them a lot of love and attention growing up, and now that's why they grow up and they're able to attract the things they want, and they live life very prosperly, because growing up they had the proper tools, and they weren't born into retarded family members. They were born to family members who knew what the fuck they were doing, pretty much. And the reason why I blame God and universe is because they pretty much put you into these situations. Nothing in life is a coincidence, since everything is spiritual, and people are meant to break generational curses and generational trauma. All these people are born into very dysfunctional families. So if they're meant to break generational curses, all these same people are born into these dysfunctional families. So it makes sense that God in the universe are putting these people, they're forcing these people to be born into very dysfunctional, abusive family members, and then growing up, you can be aware, but you can't control your human body. You can't control your nervous system. Only God and spirit and higher self controls that shit. This is why you go through certain experiences. You're born into certain bloodlines. You're born into certain families, and you have certain things happen to you because it's out of your control. This is where you get your life script, your soul contracts. Astrology proves that based on your astrological natal placements and shit like that. This is why people are able to get tarot readings off of them and shit like that. So this is why I blame God in the universe, because if they're putting you through these situations and technically they're controlling your subconscious, unconscious mind, because they put you through, they made you be born into very dysfunctional, very abusive family members. So when you grow up, so this is why people are attracting very dysfunctional relationships, and then they break it up with them, and people are having relationship issues and traumas because God and universe, they forcefully made these people experience this shit because they made them be born into dysfunctional families. So now it fucked up their conscious and unconscious mind, and now that's why they're attracting shitty ass partners that remind them of their mother or their father or their caretakers, pretty much. So that's how the cycle is, pretty much. People who are struggling like this, and those are my beliefs. So it makes sense. So this is why I blame God and the universe for pain and suffering, because they're the ones that put you through this shit. And this is why I think that even though we are meant to break generational curses and generational trauma and build generational wealth to a certain extent, like, is God and the universe, are they making us go through all this suffering and pain and all this bullshit since God and the universe, since they fucking put us through these situations? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I question, like, man, is this God in the universe's fault? Because all this can be coincidence, because a lot of people experience the same things like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is why me myself, if I experience very painful endings within relationships, it does hurt because I'm still in a human body. I still have a nervous system. It still affects me, and it takes a long time for me to heal. But at the same time, I don't take it personal. Like, I look at things from a spiritual perspective, like, maybe God and the universe, maybe they put me through this bullshit ass situation just so I can learn lessons, evolve and grow and heal, just so I can heal my bloodline or break generational curses and trauma, so I won't repeat the same cycle of abuse. So if I do have kids, I won't repeat the same cycle with them, and then that's how you're able to break generational trauma. And the more I heal my conscious and unconscious mind, that's why I'm able to attract money and abundance, and now I can build generational wealth and happiness and a loving relationship, and in a happy family. It's just some bullshit like that, pretty much. So you know what I'm saying? But at one point, like, is all this suffering even worth it? Or like, is God in the universe, are they playing with us? Are they toying with us? Are they like, why do they always make us go through so much suffering and pain within people who struggle within relationships? I know people, me myself included, were like, we're always been put into very abusive, very dysfunctional as painful relationships, to where we had to break it off with these partners because they're not doing the healing work. We also have nobody in our corner, in our circle, because we're born into very dysfunctional family members and family members where we're forced to cut off and block all of them and have no contact within them because they're so abusive, they're so toxic. There is a thing where you are born into karmic family members, and there's also another thing where you're born into family members who are part of your soul tribe. Unfortunately, me, I was born into karmic family members, so I don't talk to them. I haven't talked to them in 3 years. I blocked all of them because they're just very abusive and toxic. I've been through like emotional and physical abuse within them, so it forced me to cut them off, and I was forced to defend myself against them. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I've always attracted partners who are very dismissive, avoidant, very narcissistic, who wouldn't take accountability, who wouldn't face themselves and heal. And now I was forced to cuss them out and break up with them. You know what I'm saying? So, and now I'm always end up single. It's not because, I'm not saying no one's perfect, but what I'm saying is that, like, I'm doing my best to do the healing work, but this is why, like, it's hard for me to even date around or to attract loving partners, because all of them, they're just so narcissistic, they're so dismissive, avoidant. Either that and or God or universe, they don't want me to experience a loving relationship, because either God wants me to experience certain things that I rather don't want to experience, but I have to experience it just for the sole purpose of this human experience. This is why I have the information I know, the knowledge I know, but unfortunately, since God controls my conscious, unconscious mind, because he put me into a very dysfunctional family to where they affected my subconscious, unconscious mind, and since I'm meant to break generational curses, God wants me to experience these bullshit ass relationships like that, just for the sole purpose of the human experience. I rather not. I don't want to do it, but I have no control over that. I don't. So this shit gets frustrating. It gets annoying. It's really not fair. It's not fair. And everything happens for a reason. So I feel like when God puts us through very abusive and unfair situations, we are meant to turn those experiences around, and to help better not only ourselves but to better the collective, and maybe we can make money off of it and profit off of that, because God also created a realm and a reality to where there's a lot of restrictions, where God allows a group of evil ass people to rule over this world. This is why there's a lot of enslavement, there's a lot of world corruption and money restrictions, and this has been going on since human history. There's a lot of wars and battles and enslavement going on since human history. So all this shit ties into why I blame God and the universe for damn near everything. But that's all I gotta say, and have a good one. Peace.